Welcome to the Lifestyle Chase. This podcast features high performers who have found a way to live their best life while balancing their health, wellness, friends, and family. Proudly hosted by me, Chris Little. Without further ado, let's get started. Welcome to episode 10 of the Lifestyle Chase. Here today is the one, the only, Healthy Chelsea.
It's Healthy Chelsea.
So how's your day going? Take us through a weekday routine in the life of Chelsea.
Yeah, so first of all, I'm just so happy to be here. I've been loving listening to all the different podcasts and hearing the faces and names of the Edmonton fitness community and getting to know them better. So it's just been really cool, and I'm super excited that you asked me to be a guest, and hopefully I'm interesting enough for everybody. But yeah, so my typical day looks a little different than what my day was like today. I'm currently on like a medical leave from work, so my days are kind of a little different now. I'm sleeping in more, taking a lot more self-care time for me, which is great. But a typical day typically starts around like 6 a.m. I'll wake up, I'll eat breakfast, then I head to work, get ready, head to work. I work at the U of A and I work in student involvement, risk management, and it's really fun. It's a high volume, high impact, high demand job. So I'm working with students, doing a lot of administrative work, helping them plan events. And so I sit at my desk all day long in seclusion, and it's so boring. Like, I love my job, but I hate just sitting all day long. So when I finally get off work, I usually head to a fitness class, whether I'm teaching one or whether I'm attending one. I tend to work out after work to let all my aggressors and stressors from the day out. And then I'm pretty boring, and I just go home and relax and watch Netflix and go to bed. And food is always interspersed throughout my day as well.
Food is good.
Yeah.
You also have quite a bit of a role as sort of what they call an influencer, but just someone who represents a lot of different brands. How does that play into your day?
Yeah, so I try and do that a lot throughout my day as well. Instagram is a huge part of my life, and I love working with like local brands and brands around the world and people around the world. So often I'm curating posts on my lunch break or my other breaks, or emailing back and forth with brands. And so my little side hustle is kind of interspersed throughout the rest of my day as well.
Makes sense. Makes for a busy day, hey?
It does, but I like being busy, so it's good.
So take us back 5 years. How was your life different then than it is today?
It was so different 5 years ago. So 5 years ago, I would have been midway through university. I did like a 6.5-year degree, not intentionally, but I struggled through university really badly and couldn't really find my path, didn't really know what it was I wanted to do, thought I knew, struggled through that, didn't really find that was like the right path for me. And so I switched my degree right around, I think it probably was about 2013, went into the phys ed degree. Now they call it the Bachelor of Kinesiology, but found my way kind of through there. And that was my first year in that program. So I was struggling through first year classes once again, halfway through my like 6.5 years. And I was like not doing well. I wasn't working out very often. I wasn't in like a good mental state. I was like fighting with my friends and fighting with family and fighting with relationships, just like all the time. And I wasn't like my version of myself. Like, I like to say like now I've kind of found that path again. And I had it before that, but university sucked the life out of me. And it was like a really dark time for me. I definitely struggled to get out of bed in the morning. I had like my first kind of bouts with like mental health, like anxiety and depression, and telling friends that like I can't get out of bed, I can't come to class, can I borrow your notes? And they kind of told me like, I think you're just being lazy. And for me, that was really hard to like even own up to like, I think something's going on with me, and tell them. And then they'd just be like, no, I won't give you my notes, like you're being lazy. And that was super hard. And I didn't really know, like working at the U of A now, I definitely know what supports exist for me. And like I could have, gone to different offices on campus to talk through my issues, or like gotten different mental health supports. But as a student, you don't know those things often until you're like faced with them head on. And so I just kind of silently suffered through that. And I was definitely not a happy person at all 5 years ago. Not the same Chelsea you know and love today.
Is there anything that you think contributed to that, or is just one of life's things that just gets you?
I think it honestly was feeling so lost. Like in high school, I was a really good student. I kind of knew what I wanted to do, kind of didn't. Thought I was on that path. Like I wanted to be a dietitian, and I always knew like health and wellness was a huge part of my life. And I really wanted to work like in the community, working with people. I didn't want to be like a clinical dietitian because I'm not like a super sciencey person. I wanted to work with people. And when I was in the nutrition program and in year 3, and I was just struggling, I was failing courses. I was actually required to withdraw from university too, which was like a tough feeling from someone who was like good in high school and like a good student, and then just like sucking hardcore in university. It really like takes a blow to your like self-esteem. But then I like went to them and I had a plan. I was like, no, I'm going to switch programs. I'm going to do the like phys ed degree route. It's more people-based. It's more wellness-based. It's less chemistry-based because that was my downfall. And I think like just struggling through not knowing like what I wanted to do or where I wanted to go was really like what kind of developed that situation. I also ended a long-term relationship around that time. I was in a sorority, which was just like really bad for my mental health as well. I loved the people, I loved the actions and volunteering and all that we got to do, but there were some really toxic relationships in that group, and all of that kind of was just situational and really got me down.
Makes sense. That's deep.
Yeah.
What was your high school life like? Some people think of high school years as their best years.
Yeah.
They wouldn't trade it for anything. Some people are completely different. What kind of a person were you?
I would say I was more similar to how I am now in high school than my university self. I wasn't popular and I wasn't not popular. I was friends with everybody, and I was happy and like honestly friends with everyone, and I really enjoyed being part of many different circles. I was in like the foods class. I took phys ed all through high school, and I kind of almost think like that's probably where It's Healthy Chelsea was born, because that's where I really started to like connect with physical activity. Brought me happiness, and so thinking back on that, that's probably where I kind of developed that. But yeah, I was friends with so many different groups of people. I played sports. I was in like cosmetology. Like I was in everything, and so it was like a good time for me, but I definitely had no idea what I really wanted to do outside of high school. I hadn't really thought of it, and then all of a sudden at the end of grade 12 or midway through the year when it's like application time for university, I was like, what? I have to like apply? Like I haven't made that decision yet. I thought I had until the end of the year, and I actually didn't go into university right after high school because I had no clue what I wanted to do. I thought I wanted to do something like wellness related, but didn't really know what that looked like. And so I took 2 years off of high school before I even went to university. But yeah, towards the end I was like, I have no idea what's going on and what's next. Kind of just focused on like getting through each day or month or the year. But I was happy. I loved high school. It was fun, but definitely not the highlight of my life.
Yeah. What did you do for the 2 years?
I worked. So I didn't intend on taking 2 years off. It was going to be 1 year, kind of while I figured out what it was I wanted to do. And the first year, I just worked. I worked in the restaurant industry, which I loved, interacting with people. I love people. And so that was really fun. I was both a hostess and a server. It was great. I loved both of those. And then when I went to go apply for university, they had kind of changed some of the requirements for the nutrition program. And then I needed grade 12 chemistry, which I didn't have because throwback to what I said before, I hated chemistry, so I wasn't going to take it if I didn't need to in high school. And so I needed to upgrade. So then my second year off was full of upgrading or taking the class I didn't actually have. And then my grandpa actually passed away that year. And so it was kind of a blessing in disguise, because if I would have been in university, I would have been a mess, because he was definitely like my best friend, and that hit me hard too. So yeah, it ended up being 2 years off, unexpected, but then when I went and I was like, I know I want to be a dietitian, I'm gung-ho. I was like that kid at orientation that was so stoked to be there. And I probably I'm still friends with some of those people, and they were like, you were so excited and like into it, and all of us were like, we just want to like not be here. And I was like, can I be friends with everybody? But yeah, so yeah.
But you're being yourself, and like that, I think that's so important. Some people are like, oh, she's so enthusiastic. It's like, yeah, she's an enthusiastic person, get over it, kind of thing.
Sometimes it's like a little bit of a, like sometimes that's how I break down walls, because I'm a really shy person too. And I know you disagree with that, but I'm really shy when I don't know people. Until I get to know them, I'm like afraid to say something that might upset them, or like I'd really like to like sit back and like see how situation and how people play out. But for university, because I was going in 2 years out, I knew I was older than everybody, didn't have any friends that were my age, kind of had split ways with friends that were friends in high school that were now in university with their new friends. I was like, I need to just go in and go all in. So I was like, let's break down that like wall I have up, and just like, let's be friends with everybody and put that out there. If they like me, they like me, and if they don't, they don't. And I got like everybody's phone numbers and email addresses. We all like friended each other on Facebook. Like I broke down the barriers for everybody else too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you have a pretty big community around you on Instagram. When did that all start?
Yeah, so Instagram is such a funny thing, and that's how we met. So I don't know who followed each other first, but I know, I know that's how we became friends. But it was 2015, March 2015 at like 2 a.m. I created my Instagram page, and it was because I had followed a lot of online fitness accounts, whatever you want to call them, of people doing the similar workout program that I was kind of looking into. It was the Kayla Itsinas Bikini Body Guide, BBG. And I had bought that and had that for like 6 months at least prior. And I'd started it and kind of got into like, it's a 12-week program. And I got into like week 4 and then I just like quit. And I was like, I'm not fit enough for this. I can't do this yet. And it'd always be like these mental excuses and mental blocks telling myself like, I can't do this right now. I'll do this later. I don't have time. Wouldn't make time in my day. And she still does, has this huge online following of people who do her guides. They create these fitness Instagram accounts. And that's how people stay motivated, accountable, and kind of build community. And so I was like, okay, let's do it. And so at 2 a.m. I created my account. It was originally Chelsea BBG, so original. And I posted a picture of myself, like a before picture, cropped my head out because I wanted to be completely anonymous. Chelsea was like the only thing that was going to give it away. Didn't want to say where I lived, didn't want to give any like, I guess identifying features about me. But I posted it and I was like, okay, like, please be gentle. Cause like, here I am, like in like a sports bra and underwear, posting these photos, like a 360 kind of photo on the internet, being like, be nice to me. Like, don't be like, ew, you're ugly. Like, this is terrible. Like, you know, like there are trolls on the internet. So for sure. I've sure experienced them, but created that, pretty much posted the photo, followed a couple people, logged out, went to bed. And this is when you had to actually like log in and out of your accounts on Instagram instead of just toggling between the two. So it was a lot of work. Forgot I made the page. Went back a couple days later and I had like 300 followers, multiple likes, all these comments being like, you can do it, like we're here for you. And I was like, what? Like, oh my God, this is so weird. And it kind of just bubbled from there. Like I'd post like my food, I'd be like, I really sucked at my workout today. And like, because it was a 12-week guide and people would start it on like the same days, you'd be able to have people who are doing the same workout as you around the world. And so it kind of just started from there. And the more I put into it, the more I got out of it, which I thought was kind of cool because like the more I started sharing more information about myself, the more I connected with other people or more people connected with me. And like I said, I didn't show my face for probably like the first couple months because I was like, I don't want people to know who I am. I don't want someone in real life finding me. And they did. And I blocked them. So sorry if you followed me originally and then I blocked you. That's why it was embarrassing. Like, to put yourself out in such a vulnerable way on the internet for like all these people to see you. And I didn't tell my family about it. Like I didn't tell anybody. I was like, I'm secretly going to do this. Hopefully it'll work. Like hopefully I'm going to be like super skinny at the end of these 12 weeks. Like that was the goal, right? Like I'm going to lose all this weight and be like the before and after transformations that you see. And I soon realized that was like completely unrealistic, but the community is what like kept me, and that kept me accountable. I remember countless times there'd be mornings I'd wake up and I'd be like, I don't want to work out, or I want to like walk down the street to McDonald's and get some breakfast, like McDonald's breakfast food. And then I'd scroll through Instagram first and I'd see like this mom of 5 was able to make a healthy breakfast and work out and play with her kids in the time that I was bitching about not not wanting to work out. And I was like, okay, if she can do it, I can do it. And yeah, I struggled through those. Like it was a 12-week circuit program. It was like 28 minutes. You do it 2 to 3 times a week and add cardio in there too. And it was all like the burpees and like push-ups and like all those kinds of things. And like I have a shoulder injury. So like I can't even do like 3 burpees in a row. But then the next week I'd be able to do 4 and you'd slowly start to see the growth. And it was just like my kind of like, it turned into a diary, a fitness diary. And the community slowly like started to build, and never in a million years did I ever expect to have as many followers as I have now. And it's never been about the followers for me. It's been about connecting that community, sharing my message. Like I personally believe anybody can be healthy, happy, and active. They just have to put the time and effort in and find something that works for them. And I think like that, and my degree, of course, being in kinesiology, because I eventually did finish, I guess I should say that. Like I do have a degree in kinesiology, but like I was able to share my messages and like connect with people and just like be real. And I think that that's what people really responded to. And yeah, it's built this amazing community. I've traveled around the world, not around the world, but to the States to meet people that I've met on Instagram. All my best friends in real life are from Instagram. It's truly like a special community. It's cool.
It's really neat, and just like witnessing it from the outside perspective, like the messages that you put out are able to encourage so many people.
Mm-hmm.
And like to see you as a group fitness instructor now at Cyclebar, like I was actually in the studio one day and you weren't even instructing class, and somebody was like, have you heard of Healthy Chelsea? It's Healthy Chelsea. She's instructing here now. And I like sat down and I could hear them talking, and they were like, so she kind of started spin, and then she tried to be an instructor, and then she didn't get to be an instructor, but then she just kept going to all these classes, and now she's an instructor here, and that's why I'm here. And I'm like, seriously? If only she was here to hear that.
That's so cool.
It was just so badass, because like it's better to have a fitness community where other people feel more encouraged and like motivated to be there, than have a fitness community where you go in and you put in all this time and effort, and then all of a sudden you actually feel like you're not up to the standard, or like you're not living up to an expectation. Because what I like about Edmonton's community is making it more and more attainable for different people to be active, because with daily activity comes an increase in mental health. You
Absolutely.
get like people actually making genuine friendships and stuff, and that's kind of what it's all about. Like it's not so much a business, but it's just trying to make humanity a little healthier, one class at a time.
Absolutely. I love that. Yeah, and I get messages like that on Instagram all the time where people around the world will be like, I saw you go to Cyclebar, because of course that's where I'm teaching now, and there's a Cyclebar in my city, so I went there, and like I love it, and I can thank you because of it. And I'm just like, just me doing my own thing, but sharing it so publicly and being vulnerable and sharing like I tried out 2.5-ish different times to be an instructor, and I didn't get it before I finally nailed the tryout, got it, and found my home. But it was kind of embarrassing to share, like, people knew I wanted to be an instructor, and then I shared like I have a tryout, and it's like I didn't get it, but I'm gonna keep trying. And it's embarrassing to share those things, but I think that's what makes me real, and I think that's what people connect with. Like you said, it's more attainable, and people can see themselves in me, because like maybe they tried something and didn't like excel at it the first time, and it's like Lord knows I don't excel at everything I try the first time. It's a struggle often, but you just keep pursuing it.
But people feel so much more encouraged to just be themselves.
Yeah.
And to just take a risk, knowing that nobody's going to bark at you. Like, more often than not, you're going to have people that encourage you to be a better version of yourself.
Absolutely. I think that's so important too. I was talking with one of my riders before class last week. I had a 4-person class, and I'm not ashamed to talk about small class sizes, because I think that's where you like get the most growth out of yourself and from the riders. But I asked them to kind of like move to the front of the class, or like move. They were sitting on like the wings of the class. I'm like, come on, just like come to the middle a little.
That's what
like,
always happens. Yeah. Always like the far corner.
And especially at Cyclebar, because you book your bike ahead of time. Yeah. Like you'll book whatever bike you're comfortable on, hoping the class will fill up or whatever. But then you get there and there's 4 people, and I'm like, no one's in the middle. Like, hello, are you there? Are you there? Can you come? So I was like, this is a really great opportunity for growth and to try a different bike than you're comfortable. But like we're such a small like group, and I'm like certainly not going to judge you. Like you do your own thing, whatever bike you're on. And one of the girls was like, oh, I know you're not going to judge me. Like I actually feel super comfortable knowing that it's you. That's why I come to your classes. And right there, it just like hit me in the heart. I was like, this is why I wanted to be an instructor, because I think it's so important to feel comfortable and like feel safe with whoever your instructor is, and that's important to me.
And something you're going to learn as you instruct more classes, and I say this from experience, like you don't know the impact that you have on these people. Like they won't show it, they won't say it. You could ask them and they won't admit it, but like you're changing people.
100%.
And even in the times that you've ridden in other people's classes, like your presence, anybody's presence makes a difference. So how you show up, how you wake up in your day, like you actually have a reason to be accountable.
Yeah.
Because every move that you make plays a role in somebody else's day.
Absolutely.
So it's good to have people with that kind of self-awareness where they get it. They're like, okay, like maybe maybe I should show up for myself, but I should show up for myself because I know that I have an impact.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, like, it's never about me or whoever's instructing the class. Like, yeah, we play a role in it and we're going to tell them what they should be doing to follow the sequence of class, but we're there for them and to help their growth. And their growth is also helping our growth because we're all writing something out in that room or whatever workout we're doing, but we're all going through something, and just being there, being like showing up, clipping into the bike, like that's enough. Like, that's all you really have to do, and it just grows from there.
Mm-hmm. And you can really tell, like, when a person leading the class is like making a connection with their riders and when they're not. Like, sometimes you go in the room and you're like, oh shit, it's like they can see in my head, like they know that I'm working through shit. And then we just like whooped right through that, and we're good to go.
Oh my god, the whoop whoops are my favorite. Someone was telling me the other day, like, not to me specifically, but just in general, that they hate when people are like making noise in class. And I was like, no, like, it's such like a cathartic experience to just let it all out, and like just like whatever you're feeling that day, just like make the noise and like let it out. I'm a woo girl, and I'm Chelsea, and I'm a woo girl, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. But I just think it makes like so much more fun. And I know in times in classes I've ridden, and I make like a noise, or I like woo, or like yeah, or whatever it is that comes out, and then like you see someone else just around you, and they just like let go of whatever they're feeling, and then they're cheering and wooing, and I think it just makes like such a fun experience. So I'm always telling my riders, like, make noise, like let it out, just have fun.
Yeah. And I think like my take on it, because I can speak from like an instructor's perspective, I know the impact, but I also know like the difference between like someone overdoing it and someone not overdoing it, kind of thing.
Oh yeah, it has to be authentic. Like, it has to be real. You can't just be wooing to make noise.
You gotta feel it.
Yeah.
But like, I've gone full spectrum. I've been like the quietest person in the class, just in my own head, like not saying a word. Like, that was probably how I was at Yeg Cycle more so.
For sure.
And depending on the instructor, some of them would just bring it out of me. Like, you play like some song that I just love and I can't help it.
It's just like a full body experience. Yeah.
And then instructing at True Ride, I probably had the reputation for the most high energy. Like, I mean, it was a stiff competition because they got a pretty solid crew there. But like, if I was feeling it, the whole freaking gym knew.
Oh yeah, I remember those classes. Oh my gosh, and I remember your last one too. Like, everyone was just like,
it was awesome.
Yeah, it was so good.
Such a good memory.
Yeah.
And then coming to Cyclebar, like I've found that I'm able to really clear my head, because obviously it's kind of like, just like it was from the start, it is still sort of like a therapy kind of thing.
Oh, for sure.
In a fitness career, you got like shit that you got to work through.
Yeah. And
like, some people go and they lift heavy, and I lift heavy, but then I also go on the spin bike, and it's just something that I've accepted. It's like part of my regime.
Yeah.
It's part of what gets me in the right headspace to make big risks, which is what this year has been all about.
Yeah, this year's been huge for you.
It's nuts.
Huge.
Like,
huge.
What the hell?
It's so good though.
But I've learned in that process that now that I'm aware of what kind of an impact I can have just as a rider, like, you're going to have people that are new to the experience, and they're going to feel like they're at the end of their limit, and the instructor's like, you have more, and they're like, no, I don't, and then some dude in the corner's like, woo! And they're like, oh, wait, yeah, I have more.
Yeah.
Or like the competitive people, like, there's been so many times, and I don't really care if people care what they place on the board, but I think it's exciting to see the whole class on the board when possible.
Yeah.
Because then if somebody is like a high performance person and they're not on the board, and they're just looking at like, they tend to look at like what the top watts are, and just try and peg theirs to be above and just hope for the best kind of thing. But when you're someone that's like really comfortable in that space, and you're competent, and you're athletic, having somebody else's name hover above and below and above and below and above yours really can bring out the best.
Oh, it pushes you for sure.
So if we get Cyclebar people listening to this, get your freaking name on the board.
But I'm guilty. My name's not on the board.
Get it on there.
No, I hate it. I'm always, no matter what, I'm on the board. Like, I suck at the like Cyclebar like tight style ride, because I'm always like the last in class, and no matter, even if I'm on the board and I'm like giving her and I'm trying so hard and I'm just like not rising, and it like defeats me. So instead I just turn it off, and I just like, I want it to still be my therapy. So every once in a while I'll put my name on the board, but I find like most of the time I'm not, because I'm always dead last, and it's like sad to see my name dead last up there. It pushes me hard, but like when I'm only moving from dead last to like slightly above dead last, class, it's like, okay, Chelsea, like, you're an instructor here, like, come on. So,
but you gotta take the other stance on that, because there's people who are encouraged to show up with their best shot when they see like how hard you're trying.
That's true.
And how willing to be vulnerable you are.
That's true.
There is the angle that we're just trying to find our flow state. We don't give a shit. We don't want our name on the board. We don't care.
Yeah.
But I like to think of like, how much of an impact can you have by showing people that you're really trying, and like, this is what it is. But you're here, you showed up, you woke up, you went there after work, whatever you did.
Yeah.
And it's powerful. Because like, I know if I go there dead set hell bent to win, like, there's lots of times when I won't. Like, there's simply people that are better.
Absolutely.
But I know that I'm going to try my damnedest.
Yeah.
And my name's going to be on the board, and they're going to see me just about die. And they're going to be like, well, he definitely did his best.
I also like getting the email afterwards when I'm not on the board, because then like I'll push myself and I'll be like, I freaking killed that class, like I gotta be at the top, and then I'll like thinking like I nailed, like I was going as hard as I could, I like had that gear all the way up, like I was pushing myself harder than I've ever pushed, and then I get the email and I'm still not up there, but it's kind of like a surprise of like, where did I actually place? So I haven't actually ridden a class since I started being officially on the schedule. Like the last classes I probably took were end of August, before I like had passed training, and that's just because I'm worried I'm gonna like blow my injury out if I like push myself too hard outside of the classes I'm teaching. So I'm still trying to find my balance, but maybe you've convinced me. I'll put my name up on the board next ride I do, which I think is coming up soon. But
you should.
Yeah.
What is the most valuable lesson you've learned from any group fitness in the last 2 years?
Oh, in the last 2 years specifically. Okay, that's actually probably when I started doing more group fitness. I would say one thing that has surprised me and I've learned is more like about myself in group fitness scenarios. So I used to always be afraid of group fitness classes, and I've done like a handful of them back when I was like in that like 2013 kind of time frame. I was doing burlesque boom through Dance Code Studio, and like, so I was like still working out, but I was like super shy, and I'd walk in and I'd do my thing and leave. And even when I started going to YEG Cycle, I would sit in the back row in the very corner bike, like right by the door, wouldn't talk to anybody. Like I wanted in and out, like get my workout, get out. And it wasn't until one of the riders, who's now one of my good friends, Pauline, she came up to me and just like said hi, and I was like, hi, like don't talk to me. Like I was super shy and like super like weirded out about like someone talking to me, because I just wanted to get my workout done. And then she found me on Instagram somehow, which I'm now like open about my Instagram, obviously, because we're talking about it, but the first couple of years I was super awkward. Like if someone would follow me, I'd block them, like I said. And then eventually I started to just kind of own my Instagram as like, it's helping me, it's helping other people, and like, let's not be ashamed of it anymore. And like, there's still times where I am kind of awkward about my Instagram, but now it's like everybody knows, everyone calls me It's Healthy Chelsea. Like that's just like who I am now, and that's fine. But when she found my Instagram, I was like, oh no, now YEG Cycle, which was such like my stress relief at the time, isn't like like I'm not anonymous there. Like she can see me, she can talk to me, she found my account, she knows what I'm thinking. Like I like had a mini panic again, but she made that into a community because she talked to me, and then I felt like, you know, everybody's just going through something at these group fitness studios. So what it's really taught me is that like we're all going through the same thing, we're just in our own little worlds. And so it's until you break down those walls and build that community that it's not going to feel like a community to you either. And there's definitely times in group fitness scenarios where it's really awkward, and having an injury like I've talked about. I was checked into the boards in indoor soccer when I was like 12, and my whole upper body just kind of shifted and crunched, and I went to doctors at the time. They're like, you're a kid, you'll bounce back, here, do some stretches, and it didn't really help. And so for the longest time I lived with injury, and I was afraid of group fitness classes because you'd go to them and they'd be like, hey, we're doing these burpees, we're doing push-ups, and I'm like, I don't have the strength to do that. And it like, if I were to do it, my form would be off because like I was compensating for my injury. So then I'd like make it worse. And sometimes you didn't want to always tell the instructor that you were going through something, or sometimes you would tell them and they would like kind of laugh it off, or just be like, oh yeah, I'm injured too, whatever, just keep going. And those aren't good instructors because they're not taking into consideration the individual. And so then it made me feel like self-conscious to do group fitness. And I know like I experienced that with like Orange Theory. Until you find like the right trainer that's going to listen to you and want to like help you through your injury, they're just like, you're just a number to them. And so I definitely struggled with that through group fitness until I really found something that I liked, that I could modify on my own and not feel intimidated, that I felt a community around. And those are like that's why I love group fitness. Like it's kind of, I've been through a change of group fitness over the last 2 years, and now it's like a place I want to be. That's where my friends are, and that's like my stress release. So yeah.
Totally. Life places us in a lot of situations that make it easy to doubt ourselves. What is a strategy that you use to erase self-doubt?
Oh my God, I am full of self-doubt. And it's kind of funny because I always talk about like, just like do the damn thing and like, don't worry about what other people say. But like, here I am always being like, oh my God, I'm really nervous. Like, I don't want to do this. And what if I'm terrible? And even when I was trying out for Cyclebar, I emailed Farah the night before and I was like, I can't do a fast jog at the BPM you want me to do it at. Like, I can't do it. I was like, can I do like one a little slower? She's like, nope, it's either this or like try out again in the future. And I was like, oh shit, like I got to do it then. So I was like, okay, let's do it. But like, even I self-doubt all the time. And so one of my strategies and something I'm really trying hard to do always, and like, this is like an everyday kind of thing, but like just tell myself like, I can, and what's the worst if I try and I fail? Like, honestly, if you try something and you're not good at it, or you try and you fail, and like, what's failure? That's a whole nother topic of conversation. But like, what's the worst thing that's gonna happen? You're gonna like be vulnerable. You're gonna learn something about yourself in the process, and it's just gonna make you stronger at the end of the day. So I try to tell myself when I have self-doubt that like, give it at least one shot, and if you really hate it, never do it again, or like find something else to do. But yeah, self-doubt is a tricky one, and it's something I still like struggle with all the time, for sure.
Do you ever visualize the whole situation, just imagine it all playing out exactly how you want?
Yes and no. Like I always like to like see myself as like before my tryout and at Cyclebar, I went into the bathroom, took a selfie, and I was like, this is the last selfie I'm going to take before I nail my tryout. And on the other side of this, I'm going to be an instructor. And obviously like I didn't find out in that exact moment, but looking back, I was like, damn girl, like you had that self-confidence. Like I build myself up and tell myself I can. But I sometimes don't plan out all the way to kind of like the finish line of like if everything works out, because my whole life is an example of things that don't work out the way I expect them to, but I like how they've played out. So sometimes I see like or try to visualize it to the end, but it's usually like small steps. Like today I'm going to go nail my tryout, and today I'm going to go do this, or like I'm going to try and like be vulnerable and go to a new studio or a new class that I've never been to before, and I'll go by myself, and that's going to be great. And so like building myself up a little bits at a time. Makes
sense. So let's say you won the lottery and you were building a spin studio in a city that didn't already have 8 of them. What would it look like? What kind of community? What kind of instructors?
So that would be so cool, I think. But I don't know if I'd like running the business side of a spin studio, because like I want to be in there with all the people and instructing. But I think what's really important to me in any group fitness studio, whether it's a spin studio or otherwise, is an inclusive community. And I think to foster an inclusive community, it's really about the people that you have. And so whether that's the people at the front desk, the instructors, the riders, or the community that come to the classes, I would really want to make sure that I'm surrounding myself and the community with good people. And I think part of that too is having a diverse group of people. My cousin and I went to a spin class over a year ago, and she is not like a very athletic person. She doesn't work out all the time, but she really wanted to come because she saw how much I loved spin. And afterwards she was like, you know, that instructor was really great, but I saw there was another instructor and I kind of want to take their class. And I was like, okay, like let's do that. She didn't say why, she just wasn't connecting to the other instructor. So we went and took this other instructor's class, and afterwards she's like, I felt so comfortable in this class, and like this I would 100% take this class again. And I was like, oh, why? She's like, because this instructor is not like a cookie cutter image of what a fitness instructor looks like. They were out of breath at parts of the time during the ride. They were human up there. I see myself in them, like I look more physically like them. And she's like, that's important to me because I see myself, or I see my struggles, or I see whatever in them. And it really got me thinking about like why I wanted to be an instructor. And it was again because I feel like I have an injury, and like I talk about this all the time and it's so annoying, but like I always want to prove to people that like don't let that limit you, because it limited me for so many years, being like, oh sorry, I can't do that, like I have an injury, I can't lift that, I can't do push-ups, I can't, like yeah I can, I just have to find a way to do it or modify it or like make it work for me. So finding people in a group fitness setting who would emulate those kind of values as well, that like you don't have to look a certain way or you don't have to be the best in class. Like I want an inclusive, positive, enthusiastic environment. So that's what I would look for in like a studio that I would create. Definitely like positive people, because I'm a very positive person, and an inclusive environment. Yeah. And I think I'd want to make it like difficult but attainable. And so like every ability can kind of go to class. And I know we say that about studios now, that like anyone can go and do that, but sometimes I find that classes aren't super accessible for new riders, and so or new people, whatever group fitness it is. So I would really want to make sure that like there's either like beginner rides or like ways for people to like build up their level, because it certainly took me like 5 to 10 rides before I even knew what I was doing on a bike. I unclipped my first ride. I was like, they were pumping and I was dipping and I was offbeat. Like, it was a disaster. And as a new rider, that's so intimidating to not know what you're doing and getting in a room where everybody else has been doing it for longer than you. And so I'd really want to make sure that I'm breaking down any barriers and walls. And I think a lot of the studios in the city do really good jobs at those things, but an inclusive environment is definitely something that I would really want to make sure I have in my own studio.
Sounds cool. That's awesome. Do you think you'd ever actually do that? Like, if you won the lottery, let's say you won the lottery, what would you do? Would you travel?
Oh my gosh. I would definitely travel, because I have not traveled enough. And like, I've never really gone anywhere. I've been to Mexico and I've been to Jamaica and I'm going to Cuba in a couple weeks. But other than that, like, I haven't really been anywhere. So I want to travel.
The States.
Okay, yeah, I've been to the States. So exciting. Woo!
Yeah.
I think I've been to like 8 states, which is like also exciting, I guess. But like, I really want to travel more, and I haven't dedicated enough. Hasn't been a priority to me. And so I would definitely travel if I won the lottery. But I've like never thought of opening a studio really, but I think it could be cool. Who knows? Talk to me in a couple years down the line when I win the lottery.
Yeah, totally. So what is the toughest obstacle you have ever had to overcome?
I first have to say that I've lived like a pretty privileged life. Like I haven't had a lot of obstacles or hardships, thankfully. And I'm like very blessed in that sense, that like my life's been like honestly pretty great. But I think, and I've talked about it a little already, but like in university, like my first experience with like my mental health really taking a toll on me, and like that was the hardest thing I've ever had to deal with, because I'm a positive, happy, outgoing person, and that's just how I've always been. And then when I wasn't that way, I was like, something's wrong, but I didn't know what was wrong. There still is such a stigma around mental health, even though like even I was like too afraid to like take my break from work, because I was like, I don't want to go to them and be like, hello, my mental health is suffering right now. And like, it's so stupid. There's departments and units in my office that focus on mental health, yet I was still too like, I wasn't ashamed, but I just was like, oh no, I don't have mental health issues, because I don't deal with it 100% of the time. Mine is very situational, so I felt awkward being like, actually I need to like take care of that. But when I first experienced that, and I was like struggling at university, and my life was kind of like, I just felt like it was falling apart, and I felt like it was just like, it's like you're watching your life unfold, but you're not a part of it. That's what it felt like then. And really it just took like, I don't really know how I got out of that state. Like there wasn't like one moment. I didn't like go to therapy or anything. I probably should have. But again, I didn't see myself in that situation that like I felt like I needed it. And I think the hard part was just like, how am I going to get through this exam, or how am I going to get through this school year? Or how am I going to get through this bad relationship? And it was like one thing after another, and I just kept like trying to chip away at it. And eventually it kind of, I guess like the negative stressors just kind of passed, because I've passed the class, and then I switched my program, and I ended a bad relationship and ended being in a sorority, and all I kind of just like moved those things out of my life, and then I was like happy again, or on my way up. But I'd say like that was probably the toughest thing I ever had to go through. I felt really alone, like in university, like going, like I didn't have a very close group of friends, because they were all in their own programs doing their own things, all had relationships, and so I felt like I was dealing with that. Like obviously I had good family support, but I really felt like I was struggling through university by myself, which sucked. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'd say that was probably like my toughest thing. That was like hard to kind of pinpoint, but I think that was probably the most down I've ever felt. Like there were days I just couldn't get out of bed. I was like, I'm sick, and I wasn't sick, but I was like, or like cold, like I didn't have a cold or anything. Yeah. But I was like, I can't go. Like I just can't. And I would just lie in bed for hours and hours and be like, I just can't today. And So I'm kind of going through that again right now. So I'd say like it's hard right now too, but mine right now is just like more feeling of like overwhelm because of like stress volume of work and that kind of thing. So it's like a different than what I experienced then. There I just felt like completely overwhelmed. I hated everything. Like it was just, I wasn't healthy then at all. It was bad.
Do you have people that reach out to you knowing this stuff about you? Because you're pretty open on your social media. Like I think you've shared a lot of what we've talked about.
Yeah.
And do you find people will message you and be like, hey, how do you go through this? Like, I'm going through it right now.
Yeah, 100%. And that's, I think, what drives me to share some of these vulnerable things, because I know that like if my story will help one other person, it's worth sharing, because like I felt so alone then, or like when I started my fitness account and I was like, all these other fitness accounts are like super skinny and super great, and like here I am like 200 whatever pounds and like completely struggling. Like I don't see myself in anyone. I'm gonna do it so that someone relates to me, and like that's what works. That's what people like. People connect with people. And so by sharing all these vulnerable moments, yeah, I've been getting messages galore over the past couple of weeks since I shared like I'm taking a stress leave from work, and it's been completely overwhelming and sad that other people are experiencing this too, and either haven't realized it until I shared it, haven't gotten help, or haven't reached out to anyone. A couple people have messaged me saying like, you're the first person I'm telling, and like that's always so like heartwarming that people feel comfortable to talk to me about these things. But yeah, it's both like sad and like supportive that people are going through what I'm going through, and they're just very thankful that I'm sharing it so that we can have that conversation, because my DMs are always overflowing and I love the conversations that I'm having with people, but it's just sad to know that they're going through the same thing I'm going through.
But then if you think about it as like your impact,
oh yeah,
like you're empowering people to have more self-awareness in themselves.
Absolutely.
It's something where the light bulb might not have gone on unless you went through it, and because you're able to share. Because like there's some people just can't share everything about their life, but if you're in a place where you can and it's helpful for you, and then it's in turn helpful for others, like that's a powerful thing. Like Belle has the Belle Let's Talk campaign, but sometimes seeing a celebrity talk about it isn't quite the same as seeing someone that kind of feels like your next door neighbor kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's so powerful to have that impact, in that as you're building the tools in your toolkit to get back up on your feet, other people are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna find that over time, it's kind of like trainers training more sessions, they get better at training.
Yeah, absolutely.
So somebody consoling another person on their things that they're working through, you're going to get better at working through your things.
Absolutely. I'm like a firm believer of like grow through what you go through. Is that the saying?
Yeah, I think so. It sounds about right.
I'm like, am I saying that backwards? But yeah, like by me sharing whatever it is I'm going through, it's a way of me like processing those feelings, or like owning up to them, or like whether that's like I'm starting this fitness program, or I'm going through mental health issues, or like whatever it is, or I want to be an instructor, and like the processes that go through all of that, like I'm helping someone else and I'm sharing that, but I'm also helping myself. So yeah, the messages and the impact from that has been really cool, and I love being vulnerable. I never thought I would, because no one who loves being vulnerable.
Nobody,
like really like it. Yeah, but like I'm always scared. So I'll type out my captions, my like essay captions, which I know you love essay captions too, like max out that word limit, but I'll like type them out often before bed, because that's usually when my mind's racing with a lot of things. I'll save it as a draft and like be like, okay, I'll post this tomorrow, like I want to think on it. And those are usually like my most vulnerable ones, because like just letting it all out, and then I'll go back and read it and be like, oh my god, I cannot share that, like, oh what the heck, like I can't do it. And then I hit like share, run away, and like don't look at my phone, because I find like those are the moments that like I'm scared. But if I'm scared, then like usually the best things happen from the moments you're like feeling like a little like uncertain about how that should work out. So I share it, and then I was overwhelmed with the response that I got when I was like, hey, I'm like taking a mental health leave, like a stress leave from work. Like I'm at my wit's end. I'm not doing great right now. And there were so many comments and likes and shares and people messaging me, people calling me, like friends around the world texting me. Like it was really cool. And then I feel so much more supported and like more comfortable talking about it, I guess. Whereas before I was like, I can't tell anyone. Like I can't even tell my mom. Like don't want to tell my boss. Like it's cool. It's really cool.
It's good. That's like the positive side of social media.
Oh yeah.
but everybody has their trolls.
Oh, yeah.
What's the worst troll experience you've ever encountered?
I've had a couple, and I always like share these stories on social media too, because I like life isn't all positive and rainbows, even though I like to try and think it is. I had a 13-year-old boy message me one time, telling, like, it was like a transformation photo, and I was like really proud because I'd committed to like working so hard on this like program, and I was like eating healthier. I was feeling better about myself. This was like a couple years ago, and he just commented still fat, and I was like that hurt. Like, it wasn't so much like, and I didn't know who it was at the time, and I really could care less about like what he actually said, but the fact that like a 13-year-old boy, like a kid, messaged me still fat, obviously just trolling because he's like, you know, a keyboard warrior, whatever. But I was just like, that hurts, because like those are the people, like, say whatever you want to me and like trolls come at me kind of thing, because I have like a pretty, like, I'm pretty well versed in like, I love myself and I don't really care what other people, like, I do care, but like I also, it won't wear me down, your words, like, they're just words at the end of the day. But what if that 13-year-old boy had commented that on someone else who was like really struggling to even share that post, or to like maybe that was the first time they ever shared something super vulnerable, and that's the response they get, like, that completely would shut a person down. Me at this point, I'd had a lot of trolls at that point, so I kind of got over it, but that one hurt. But then I had a friend who's a mom in Florida, and she found his mom's Instagram account, screenshot what he said and sent it to her, and then his page was deleted a couple weeks later. So I was like, yes, thank you for taking that one for me. Just got
lit right up.
Yeah. So that one was hard, just because I felt like that's the type of message that like, it just hurts, because it's like from someone who probably doesn't know what they're even saying, like they're just going around on the internet, but someone like, they took the time to like seek out these pages and do that. Another troll one that like stings still kind of was 2 years ago. I had gone to Calgary with a bunch of friends for like a little fitness meetup with our Calgary counterparts. This is back when I was still doing the BBG program, Bikini Body Guide by Kayla at CNIS. And the Calgary girls had organized this little meetup, so like a bunch of my Edmonton friends, we went to Calgary. So like we went to like a restaurant for lunch before the workout, and then afterwards we went to Regrub before Regrub was in Edmonton, because we were like, oh, these are so cool, like the milkshakes with like the things on top. And so we had gotten a milkshake, and then on the way home we wanted to stop at like, I don't know if it was like Donut Mill or Peter's or wherever, but we like had this like day of like fun eating, and like I don't eat like that every day. But this girl sent me an email from an anonymous email, I assume it was a girl, from an anonymous email account, basically recapping everything I had eaten in the past like month, like literally like documented. On Tuesday you ate this, on this and this. She's like, no wonder you're not losing weight, no wonder you're not this, and sent me like, honestly, it was like 6 pages of screenshots worth of an email, like just like tearing me apart about like how I shouldn't be preaching that you should like be healthy because I am not healthy, and like how you shouldn't do this. And I'm a firm believer in balance. Like, I think if I ate like that every day, that's probably not the healthiest way to live, and maybe I shouldn't be preaching that you should eat, you know, all these like high fat foods every single day. But also like, it was very obvious I went there for an event, and like we were having fun that one day. But yeah, she just like tore me apart. And so I went on, I didn't reply, and then I went on Instagram, and I was just like, you know, like, be mindful of the words that you say, because like, while it might not hurt me, and it did hurt me, but I was like, while it might not hurt me, it could like really like be damaging to someone else. Like, always remember, like, you don't know what someone's going through, your words have meaning, like, be nice. And then to that, she sent me another email basically being like, oh, boo-hoo you, like, your life is so difficult, and like, you're so ugly, you're so fat, you don't deserve to have this Instagram account, I don't know why people even like you only like when people say nice things about you instead of mean things. And she's like, you could be really pretty if blah blah blah. And then like, those ones kind of hurt, because someone took so much time out of their day to be so hateful towards me, when I'm not out there preaching that I have like a meal plan that you should follow. I eat like crap all the time, sure, that's fine, but like, that's okay to me, because I also eat healthy and I work out, and like, that's the balance that works in my life. I never said like I'm counting macros, or like, obviously the goal I think for me is always to lose weight, because I have extra weight on me, but I'm also happy, so I don't really care about that. And unless I'm saying like, hi, I'm struggling to lose weight, I'm really eating like crap, someone help me, then I don't think people should be attacking me like that. So that one really hurt, because she sent me like all these hateful emails. She actually told me, because I said something back in my story about like, this is like bullying behavior or something. I didn't say that she was a bully, but I said like, these types of things can come off as like bullying behaviors. And she then actually went through the definition of bullying. She said it's not like I told you to kill yourself, but actually now maybe like you should. Like she sent, like it got extremely hateful, and then that still kind of like hurts to my soul, because it's like, why do you have so much hate for someone you don't even know? Or if it is maybe it is someone I know, they were anonymous anyways, but like, really, on the internet, like, do you have to be a keyboard warrior? Other than that, I get like messages. I haven't had actually any in a long time, but I used to get messages all the time being like, you looked better on the left, or like whatever, when you post like transformation photos, or like, I liked what you posted better before, and like all those things. But at the end of the day, it's my page. Like, if you don't like it, unfollow.
One thing to always go back to the point that everybody is like very self-interested. They're only going to take time to do something if there's some gain for themselves. And sometimes it's a long and roundabout way for them finding that, but that's why they're connected. So if anybody's ever like throwing shade and they like took all this time to notice, there's something incredibly impactful about what you're doing, that you're doing right. Yeah. So you need to keep doing it. Absolutely. And it's so good that it's triggered them that much.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, they are at a place where they're hurting and they're taking it out on me. And like, while I don't say like, come at me, throw all your hate at me, but clearly they were processing something, and I was just a part of that process for them. But I never try to, like, I used to just like delete them and like not even pay, like if there were comments, I would just delete them and not pay any attention to it. And then sometimes now I reply and I'll be like, actually, like, I am, like, someone was like, someone actually in May, I took a group photo at a Calgary spin studio, and my leg, I was doing skinny leg apparently, where you like kind of like bend your leg and pop your hip, or I don't know. I was just standing because it was comfortable. Like, I wasn't being like, I gotta like mask how big I am or whatever. But someone was like, why are all the other girls have 2 flat feet on the ground, but you're standing there with skinny leg? Like, you'd look so much better if you just like stopped trying to hide yourself. I was like, actually not trying to hide myself. So sometimes I like respond positively and just like explain my situation, but a lot of the times with trolls, I'm just like, they're going through something, they needed to let it out, I'm not going to let it affect me, I'll just delete and move on. But yeah, they're always going through something. I know that they're not like, it's nothing me person, like as a person, it's not me, it's just like they needed someone to take it out on, and I just happen to be there.
I guess so. Yeah, just always remember to take the positive take on it, because like, we can only focus on so many things in our life at once. Like, I think there's probably like 7 to 8 things we can think of. And so if you're thinking about all the little chirps and attacks that people are making on you, like, that's what gets us so in our head. Where we talk ourselves down.
I would have deleted my account years ago if I was so focused on that, because I have gotten probably hundreds of like mean messages and comments and a couple of emails too. So like, I don't care.
Such savages out there in the internet land.
I think like, people are just, they're insecure with themselves or insecure with whatever they're going through in the moment. And I think when they see someone who's positive and happy with themselves, no matter their shape, size, whatever, I think sometimes that triggers them, because like they're not in that same state themselves, and so then they want to just try and tear that person down. But I never try to take it too personally. But that one email, man, that was harsh. I deleted it. Like, I took the screenshot, sent it to my friend. My friend's like, don't let that bother you, delete it. And I deleted it. And I don't think of it often, but when I do, like, that one hurt, because someone took so much time. Like, there was so much like detail. They had clearly been like festering about it for weeks, and then finally just hit send, and I was like, wow, like, I impacted you that much that you really wanted to like pay every attention to my life. But
you gotta think, like, that's some shitty quality of life. They woke up to look at the internet.
What's it Healthy Chelsea doing today, and how can I tear her down? But
they did research to be an ass. And
like, go for it. Like, if that's what makes you happy at the end of the day, like, I guess, whatever. It's like no skin off my back. It upset me for like an hour. I cried about it. I don't cry a lot, but like, I cried about it, and then I moved on, and I was like, you know what? I've a couple times I've like, in that moment, I'm like, I'm going to delete my account. I'm done. Like, I can't take this like bullying and this harassment. And I'm like, Chelsea, it's like one message. How many positive messages do you get every day of people being like, you really helped me, or like, you changed my mindset? And so, like you said, it's always about the positive, and one bad apple in the bunch isn't going to ruin it for me. So I try not to.
It happens to everybody, just on a different scale. Like, in the trainer world, there's people that are constantly calling people out, like, this person shouldn't be in the industry, or I don't agree with that, or these credentials, or that form, or this, or that gym.
I believe it.
And and it's just, you have to realize that, you know, you're doing things right. Like,
and at the end of the day, it's
good.
like, what impact do you have on other people positively? Whether it's one person, whether it's 100 people, whatever. Like, if you can make an impact on one other person's day, you're doing your job. Especially as a trainer. Like, if you can help one person, that's enough.
Yeah, exactly.
It's great. Yeah.
Like, trainers in the city that are making a go of it, like, they are making people's lives better.
Yeah.
And if those people's lives are sustainably better, then you're winning.
Absolutely.
Like, as long as somebody's not just pumping out people with back problems, like, that would suck.
That would very much suck.
But I haven't heard of anybody quite doing that, so we good.
Yeah.
Those situations weed themselves out. Like, they only can mess it up really once.
And I think people, when they're trying to tear someone else down, like, they're going through something and they just want to take it out, but at the end of the day, they're not going to be able to do that forever. Like, people are either going to see into them and be like, you're not authentic, you're not genuine, like, you're just trying to tear other people down, or they're just going to fizzle out because they can't maintain that negativity for so long.
Yeah.
Like, they're not, no one can be that negative all the time, so.
I'm so tired from being an asshole.
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, like, I like that about people being themselves.
Yeah.
Because I've said it to a few people in the past. I've been like, look, like, that person's winning right now, but they're not being themselves.
Yeah.
And time after time, like, people in their life are going to realize this person is not being themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are just yourself, your most authentic self, everything that you do speaks to your heart kind of thing, then you can consistently maintain that, because you're not doing anything different than usual.
You're just being you.
Yeah, and then you get really, really good at being you.
Yeah.
And that's like, I think that's something that both of us do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we don't really care if everybody likes us. But
I'm definitely not everybody's cup of tea, and that's fine. Some people like coffee. That's okay.
There's people that think I'm a complete tool. And that's okay. Yeah. Because the people who are in my life, I care about them deeply. Mm-hmm. I look out for people. Absolutely. And I'm in an industry, hustling to be in an industry where, like, I can make people better people.
Absolutely.
So I don't feel like I've wronged anyone, but no matter what you're doing, whether you're a doctor, whether you're, like, the greeter at Walmart, where all you
I wanted to be a Walmart greeter as a kid. Like, that was like my goal. I was like, I can't wait till I'm old and I can be a Walmart greeter.
You should honestly just, like,
quit my job and go do it right now.
Do it for like 1 or 2 days this week and just let it all out.
Just, like, get my own vest from, like, Value Village. Yeah. Like, don't even actually work there. Just, like, go and be like, hello everybody. Welcome
Instagram live the whole thing.
There's a Walmart down the street from my house. How hilarious.
Perfect. Just do it.
Coming soon. It's Healthy Chelsea as a Walmart greeter.
Do it. They can't say no. You know the weird things that go on at Walmart?
It's true. People of Walmart, yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to be on there. This girl really wants to be a Walmart greeter, but she's, like, not old enough. Because they're always, like, old people. But, yeah, when I was a kid, I really wanted to be a Walmart greeter. Anyway, sorry to interrupt. I just had to share that.
No, that's good. That's good. We're being authentic here.
Exactly.
But it's just, like, it doesn't matter. You could be the most positive person in the whole world, and you're going to have people just hating on it.
Oh, yeah.
And you try and think about it, but you're wasting time if you ever, like,
can't even
come
focus
up to
on
the
that.
conclusion.
The people that are in your life are the important ones, and, like,
exactly,
the ones that you make time for and make time for you. Like, at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Who cares?
And
about
living a life of gratitude, where you like take time to really think about the people who are playing these roles, the people who are making moves for you, kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes we get in a state of mind where we're like, well, I don't have that, and I don't have this, and I wish I had that person's support or this or that. But then you forget, well, I actually there's quite a circle of people that are cheering me on, kind of thing, and I'm getting back what I put out into the world. Mm-hmm. And that mindset of gratitude, like, I know it's, like, played out into the world over and over and over, but you can't do it enough. Like, it's very beneficial. You're gonna experience a lot of momentum from being thankful for the things that work out for you.
Absolutely.
And from being positive. Thinking about the city of Edmonton, is there anyone in the city that inspires you or that you look up to?
That's a really good question. I think there are a lot of people that inspire me in different ways. Like, I don't, like, have any one person that I idolize, but I really think that, and we kind of just talked about this, but, like, when you surround yourself with people that are looking out for you and, like, they want the best of you, like, and the best for you and from you, I think those are the important people to surround yourself with. And so I've done that both online and in person, I think, and, like, really being selective in the people that I give my time and energy to, and like of course like I only say yes when I actually really want to do something, which I know we've talked about before, but those are the kind of people, the ones that like when you want something from them, they're like yes, they're there, they're in your corner, and those are the people that like I admire in our city, and like there's so many that I can't even begin to name them all, but like right now, like Farah is just like such a badass, and she's probably gonna listen to this and be like, oh, Chelsea, but like she's really been in my corner lately, and like I'm so thankful for her. Like just even when I shared a little bit in our like Cyclebar group chat and for instructors, I was like, oh, actually, like I can take this class because I'm not going to be at work for the next little bit. And everyone was like, oh my God, like what's going on? I was like, don't want to talk about it right yet. Like it had just like, it was like the day I had literally given my note to work to be like, I'm taking a break. Like I need a break. And so many emotions were happening. And she was just like, you know what, like take time that you need. But then the next day she like called me just to be like, you know what, like I'm here for you. And like, it was just like little things like that. Like those are so impactful because like sometimes you forget that some people are so in your corner until like something happens and you're like, damn, like they are there for me. So Farah's like a huge one right now, but there are so many people that are just like hustling it out in the city and like that inspire me or that I admire. So many people, especially like instructors in different studios or different things, and some of them, I mean, you've had like Dow. I love Dow. Like listening to her podcast, like that you just had her on, and I was like, how do I follow Dow? Like she's just so amazing, and like I could just listen to her talk about like life for so many hours. Like she's just so inspiring to me. So I love Dow. Danny Parks is awesome. She's just so badass, and like I could watch her yoga videos like all day long on Instagram. Like she's so amazing. But there's so many cool people in our city that I don't even want to like just like narrow it down. I think like anyone that I spend time talking with or like interacting with, whether it's just, even if it's just on Instagram, like if I'm replying to your messages and giving you that time of day, like you're important to me and you've made an impact in my day. And I do try to reply to like everybody on Instagram, but sometimes it's just like, yes, this is the brand of socks I was wearing. Cause I get asked like the weirdest things. People are like, does that bathing suit come in pink? I'm like, I don't know. But
every time you wear glasses.
Oh my God. How annoying is that for someone who's like not like an influencer like I am? Like not to say that you aren't, but like people who like ask me every day, be like, oh, what brand are your glasses? I'm like, literally guys, like I can't talk about this every day. Everybody else is gonna be so annoyed. But yeah, like if I'm spending time like having authentic conversations and getting to know you better and learning more about your life, just like you're learning about mine, like you're important to me. So I think there's so many people that influence me and impact me in so many different ways in our city and just like in general through Instagram.
Yes, I think Edmonton's great for that, just in
the
general.
Community is so good. The Edmonton fitness community is just, well, the Edmonton community in general. I love Edmonton. I'm never leaving, I don't think. I always say, like, I used to always be like, I'm out of Edmonton. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm going to leave. And, like, I can't imagine not being in Edmonton. Like, I love the people here.
Yeah.
They're great.
It's neat.
Yeah.
So now for some quick questions.
Yeah.
Pizza or tacos?
This isn't quick. This is such a hard question. I love both. I'm going to say pizza because that's what I'm feeling in my soul right now. But both are so versatile. That's what I love about them. But I'm going to go with pizza.
Sweet. Next one is Ferrari or Viper?
I'm like not a car person.
But if you had to choose one.
Do I even know what a Viper looks like? I probably do, but I'm going to go with Ferrari off the top of my head.
That's fair.
I can't picture a Viper in my head. I'm literally like, I have a 2007 Ford Focus. Like, I'm not a car person.
Gets the job done.
It does. Gets me to A to B. I love my little car. Her name's Betty.
It's just cool to hear people's answers to those quick questions. Yeah. This is our last and final one.
Sure.
If you could give our listeners one piece of advice on how to authentically live their life to the fullest, what would it be?
Just be your damn self every day.
I like it.
Be unapologetically you. Be congruent in your behaviors. Like walk the talk or walk the walk and talk the talk. Like just be you. Don't be afraid of what anyone else says.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks so much for having me, Chris.